Utilizing the workforce centers in the area has gotten me to where I am today. Shortly out of high school, I joined the United States Navy. Didn't know what to do in the Navy. I'm from a farm. I grew up on a farm. So I went to the deck force on the ships. I loved it. I stayed into the deck force, and I served in the Navy for 9 years. After 9 years, I had a family that we were very young. We had a young child, and it was time to move back home and get her into school. So I released from the Navy and came back, and I went to the Workforce Center to decide what I wanted to do here, and the same thing, they asked me what I want to do. Well, now the only thing I know is a ship and what to do out on a ship. So we found a job, and I started training as a machinist in a small company in Fairmont, Minnesota. On the job training, loved it, became a pretty good machinist, and 10 years into that, the plant closed. So I was at a crossroads once again, but this time I went to the Workforce Center and I looked at options, and they had this program called Dislocated Workers Program. And with that program and the Montgomery GI Bill that I had earned in serving with the United States Navy, I was able to go full-time back to school. I became a non-traditional student and went to Rasmussen Business College in Mankato. And the major was business administration with an emphasis in human resources. After I graduated there, I got into human resources at a small company in Fairmont, Avery Waytronics. And while I was working there, so 6 months later, I actually became their HR manager and pursued my bachelor's degree while I was working there, and then finished that degree, and that was through Concordia University out of St. Paul, and that was for organizational management and development. So that was my kickstart into becoming an HR generalist and business partner, and then into an HR director's role. As I was working in HR, we had a need for hiring a lot of people, so I utilized the Workforce Center for that. While I was working in Worthington as an HR director for JBS, I was approached to join or become a part of the Workforce Development Board for the southwest portion of the state. And I was appointed to that Workforce Development Board in 2016. About a year later, I was asked to join the Governor's Workforce Development Board, and so I was appointed to that board in 2017. I served on both boards. And the reason I wanted to serve on these boards was because these programs that are offered through the Workforce Development Centers are what helped me. So when you find yourself at that crossroads where your plant closes or you find yourself out of work, these are the programs that can help you kickstart your career or even guide you into a whole new one.
CareerForce is a Minnesota workforce system. Services are provided by a statewide network of organizations to assist you in reaching your career goals. Any of these organizations will be able to assist you. Please call your local area to take your first step towards your future.